Jack Sacca, of course, is a legendary entrepreneur and the founder of multiple businesses valued in the hundreds of millions of dollars. After 31 years at the helm of SRC, he is still working to grow the company and says he wants to be known as a job creator.
You know, I have trouble threading a fishing line in a very small hook. You know? I mean, and look at what she can do.
If you dread going to work each day, you can bet you're not working for Springfield entrepreneur Jack Sacca.
They don't treat you like just a simple-minded person that comes off, you know, they treat you with respect for the knowledge that you know.
The founder of dozens of companies, Sacca is widely considered the innovator of a revolutionary business model known as open book management, sharing financials, the good and the bad, with all employees and counting on them for ideas and solutions in times of trouble.
What is the secret to your success?
Probably trusting people, really understanding how smart people really are.
When Sacca first came to Springfield from Chicago, he was tasked with shutting down the local international harvester plant. He planned to do his job and move on, but he found something unexpected. When
I came to Springfield, Missouri, I just absolutely fell in love with the people. I mean, they were entrepreneurial. They're the heart of America. The type of people that said, give me the tools to do the job and get the hell out of my way.
It then became Sacca's goal to save the factory and save jobs at a time when the nation's unemployment rate was a whopping 12%.
I saw the old style of leadership becoming obsolete, and I saw the beginning of the information age.
He started at the bottom, on the line in a factory, and Sacca could relate to the workers on the floor. He knew he had to do things differently.
Teach everybody how to read a balance sheet, and then what will happen is you'll get a sustainable company. And by God, it worked. It ended up working, you know, and it surprised us, okay? But it was like all of a sudden people became engaged.
You said that you were denied loans?
At least 50 times.
At least 50 times. So people weren't seeing what you saw?
No, and they still don't see it today, which is great for us because that allows us to differentiate from most businesses in our area.
31 years later, that forward way of thinking remains Sacca's hallmark.
Once they understand what it takes to be successful, oh my God, that's the key to innovation.
Expanding into electronics is just one of the ways SRC has been able to grow jobs. Now at 1,500 positions, they expect to add another 700 within the next 3 years.
It is very cool, and my family is very proud of me. When I tell them what I do, it's like they're in awe.
Employees like Sherry Markovsky are valued not only for the skills they bring, but the ideas they have to improve the company's bottom line.
It's like, my mom does that? So it makes me proud. It makes me very proud.
And all of the employees share in the company's success.
I just wanted to have people have a piece of the pie, and I was not concerned about what big piece of a pie we had as the leaders. I was concerned with just make a big pie.
For Sacca, that means distributing the wealth. He says line workers for SRC retire very well. But Sacca's journey to build this empire had humble beginnings.
You sort of describe yourself as a troubled young man.
Juvenile, yeah, trouble. I'm still troubled. That hasn't changed a bit. Look, I failed at everything up to 19. Okay, I mean, I was thrown out of the seminary. Okay, I was thrown out of college. I was thrown out of jobs. Okay, I flunked the physical for the Army. Okay. And so by 19 years old, I had taken an inventory of my life saying, what do you do when God doesn't want you, when the military doesn't want you, when education? So I entered the workforce.
So you think it actually gave you an advantage to go straight into the workforce?
Oh, yeah, I did.
Would you do it the same way, starting now, if you were starting
honestly,
now at 19? Yeah.
I'd try to find out how to do a pet rock, probably.
Do you think other people could do this?
If you understand the metrics of a business, you can do it, yes. So are you taking advantage of the tuition refund program?
I am.
His unassuming demeanor and instinct to reach out to those around him makes Sacca a rare type of leader. Believing investing in those at the bottom only pushes those at the top even higher.
Describe yourself in one word. Crazy. What you're saying when you're sharing your story is people did think you were crazy.
They still do. Oh, and what we did by opening the books was heretical. I mean, you did not do that in the 80s.
Crazy, maybe, but for Sacca, with those risks have come great rewards. Is it competition that drives you?
Oh, hell yeah. I hate to lose anything.
Do you have plans of slowing down?
No.
It doesn't sound like it.
No. When they throw me out is when I leave, okay? You know, when I start slipping mentally is when I would exit. And people ask you, when are you going to retire? And I said, when I got something better to do.
No plans of slowing down at all. In fact, he told me he can't even get used to taking a simple vacation because, and I quote him on this one, Lisa and Ethan, there's not enough action.
On vacation. That's the point, I think.
We're there to meet needs and to help people get to the next phase of their life.
This is home for Hal Donaldson, serving children in the Philippines, part of his passion as the founder and visionary behind Convoy of Hope.
Inside of us, we're really not trying to build an organization. That's really not our motive. Our motive is to just be generous to people here in Springfield and around the world.
When Donaldson was just 12 years old, his father was killed by a drunk driver. He spent his younger years in California living in poverty, one of 10 people sharing a single wide trailer.
You know, when you have to go to the grocery store with food stamps and you know that you're going to school with holes in your shoes and holes in your jeans, and that's before it was cool to have holes in your jeans, you know that there's something different about your household.
Donaldson says the generosity of others helped his family survive. As a child, he resolved he would someday find a way to help others in need.
Because when you grow up poor, your ambition becomes making money so you can live a better life. I have nothing against making money. In fact, I encourage people to make money. Make as much as you possibly can. But with what you've been blessed with, be willing to give to others who don't have as much as you have and help them escape a life of poverty.
As a journalist and author, Donaldson spent many years chronicling poverty around the world.
Mother Teresa asked me a question, young man, what are you doing to help the poor and the suffering? And I was very honest with her. You know, I figured probably not a good idea to lie to Mother Teresa, right? And I told her the truth, that I really wasn't doing anything. And, you know, in her very humble way, she said, you know, everyone can do something.
That's when Donaldson joined with his two younger brothers, Steve and Dave, in an effort to do something.
We would load up pickup trucks with groceries and go into needy areas and just pass out food to people and try to encourage them. That was the root of Convoy of Hope.
There was no plan in place at that time, no dream of what Convoy might eventually become. Now a worldwide organization that relies heavily on the help of volunteers, like the ones here at the warehouse in Springfield every Tuesday, packing bags and boxes of food for those who need them most.
We get a lot of people together, get a lot of things done really quickly, and help as many people as possible.
Some volunteers, like Zach Fortner, are committed to being here every single week.
Looks like you're doing pretty good.
Taking pride in being part of something greater than themselves.
I think everybody deep down has something telling them they need to help. I just stumbled onto this and found it, and I've loved it ever since.
What's the secret to your success?
I think the secret to the success is that, again, coming back to the faith piece, I do believe that God has blessed this place. He's blessed what we do.
Being on the front lines around the world gives Donaldson a unique perspective. He sees unexplainable catastrophes, tornadoes, floods, earthquakes, and typhoons, and the most extreme day-to-day poverty.
What do you think is the biggest challenge facing our world right now?
I believe the greatest problem in the world today is selfishness and greed. It's people who've chosen not to be generous. They've chosen not to care for a person in need, for a brother and sister, a neighbor. I believe that the Bible in particular teaches us to be generous with people.
When asked to describe himself,
caring.
Nothing stops Convoy from reaching those in need, but Donaldson says the organization would not exist, at least not in its current form, if it had been planted anywhere other than Springfield, Missouri.
I can't say enough how grateful I am. This community. Convoy truly is a reflection of the Ozarks. Having been raised in California, I'm really, really glad I'm in the Ozarks.
Love that, and it is most certainly a community effort. As you saw there, they rely on all of us to take part in what they do, but their growth, I think, shows the generosity that is present here in the Ozarks, unlike any other place, I think. You would think a man who manages billions for some of the nation's wealthiest individuals would say it's all about the money. But BKD's Jack Thurman describes himself as more of a social worker who just happens to be a very successful entrepreneur. As you're about to see, there is an emotional story behind his success.
give us an update on Chicago.
It's one of the nation's largest financial firms. Accountants and advisors manage billions for some of the wealthiest individuals and most successful businesses. BKD is headquartered right here in Springfield, Missouri.
When I do look back, when I do put myself back in that position, I feel only blessed.
President of BKD Wealth Management, Jack Thurman, is a very successful money man. But the journey he took to now managing $3 billion for clients and building substantial wealth of his own might surprise you.
What is your secret to success?
I don't know if I have these secrets as much as I learn from other people. I'm a constant learner.
That learning started at an early age on the outskirts of Chicago in a rough neighborhood where Thurman lived in a single wide trailer with his parents, both blue-collar workers, and his younger sister.
And I remember watching Walter Cronkite.
Seems the only real.
And Walter Cronkite would talk about the Vietnam deaths and casualties, and then he would follow it up with the Dow Jones Industrial. And I remember my dad going to my dad and saying, "Hey, Dad, what does he mean about Dow Jones Industrial?" He said, "I have no idea what it means."
A teacher would later show Thurman how to read the Wall Street Journal.
And I just thought, that's important. It's something important enough that Walter Cronkite will talk about every single night after Vietnam injuries. I just felt that that was what I was supposed to do with my life.
As a young man, difficult life circumstances helped the future entrepreneur develop the skills he's carried with him ever since, though the memories are still painful.
My dad walked out December 9th, 1972. December 10th, I went to school and my mom went to work. My sister went to school. And it was, we didn't know how we were going to make ends meet. And my mom just said, "We'll figure it out." We figured it out.
Thurman's mother eventually moved her family out of the Windy City to the Ozarks, where they would find a place to restart their lives.
What would you say to people who feel hopeless about where they are financially?
It starts with you. You have to outthink it, reach up for help when it has, look at success stories, look at what you be very intentional looking yourself and saying, what am I not doing right here? And too often we're not looking at ourselves.
How would you describe yourself in one word?
Tenacious. Go again. Get up. Don't sit there. If you're not tenacious, you won't be successful, no matter how smart you are.
The 53-year-old was so resolved to be a success, he found himself wealthier than he could have ever imagined by age 30.
I realized that I'm making more money than I ever dreamed of, and I'm more depressed than I've ever been. And I realized that I had been chasing the wrong thing.
As a leader at BKD, Thurman is now a mentor to others and has found a way to tap into what he calls the heart and emotion of wealth building.
Finances are just the road, it's the pavement. It's not the journey itself. And too many people think it's the destination.
Instead, looking at money for the path it provides.
What do you think is the secret to financial success?
Be intentional. Being intentional, whether it be in your own life or in finances, is the biggest determinant. I'm tenaciously optimistic. Every day I wake up, it's another day, and we can conquer this.
Lessons learned from a very tenacious and optimistic mother.
I start saying to myself, I live an American dream. I definitely live my dream.
Pretty incredible story that I didn't know much about until I sat down with him. So thank you to Jack Thurman for opening up with us, because I'm sure that's going to inspire a lot of people.